All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of the Semi-Perfect Podcast. This is episode, I'll have to do a little number thing where it's like 24 in the actual edit when we upload it. But I will find out someday what episode we're on and say it properly. But yes, this is our first. Oh, my phone's ringing now. Oh, God. Talk about not being professional. Oh, that's why we're called Semi-Perfect, though. Just so you all know, Ray's right now is currently catching up on some stuff.
He's watching the episode.
He's watching the episode. Speaking of which, he'll be here in a few minutes. I didn't even watch the episode.
This is episode 28.
It's episode 28. Wait, is it? Wow.
What?
No, it can't be. I don't believe it.
I think so.
No.
Of this podcast?
No way.
Yes.
I don't believe it. I don't believe it. Let me go look it up. It is, I think. Well, the last one I uploaded was 20. Wow, it is 28. Holy moly. All right. This is why you've got moderators who know more than you do, because I don't know a damn thing. All right, so
I do believe our co-host survived.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Yeah, we haven't even started.
welcome
Great.
to the show.
there we go. Race,
Yes.
how are you?
Great. How are you?
I'm fine. I'm just choking on my ineptitude. How was the episode?
All right. So I just watched the episode. We're live. We're good.
We're live. We're going
Yeah.
forward. We're marched forward.
Nice. Just a heads up for everybody watching and those joining. I think we're gonna aim to have the podcast end at about 7:30 tonight. Because I have a daddy's birthday to celebrate.
Hey, happy birthday to him.
Happy birthday to your father.
It'll mean a lot to him hearing it through me from you.
Give us his phone number, and I'll have all the people in the chat send him messages.
Good idea.
Yes.
It's 555. Wait.
That's not it, dude. It's 261.
Think I'm an idiot?
Yeah. All right. So we will be talking about the episode here in a bit, but before we get to that, let's go ahead and just catch up to speed on each one of us in our weeks. So, who wants to go first? How has your week been going? Don't be shy.
Matt, I want to hear yours, Matt, because I haven't talked to you in 2 weeks.
Yeah, Matt.
I
what's
know,
up?
right?
What's new?
Well, my girlfriend just graduated from law school with a Juris Doctorate and a Master's in Public Policy, so I spent the last week and a half-ish visiting her so I could be there for both of her graduations.
Nice.
Yeah.
Congratulations to her.
I feel so bad for her that she is studying for the bar exam right now and will be doing so for the next 2+ months.
That's not easy.
Please. We all know when you say studying, it actually means just locking yourself into a room, crying for hours, and then studying for about 6 minutes.
There was this time
But still.
when we at one of the BronyCons in Baltimore, I think on Thursday or whatever, or Wednesday, I forget which one it was and what year, but we were walking around the convention center, and down the escalator below was the sign that says "Be quiet, bar exam being taken" or something like that. And you can see
There was that at a convention?
it was
2013.
Yeah, it was there was a bar exam going on, and I thought wow, that these guys better pass it and get going before the bronies start showing up.
I hope you were
Dear God.
silent as church mice.
I think
Had you disturbed them, you did legitimately risk one of them coming out, stabbing you, and going back in to finish.
no, I'd be drowning on my bloods, and that's against the law. You should know this.
There was an earthquake in California one year during the bar exam.
Okay, did they sue it?
People stopped, took cover.
We're gonna sue the earth.
Well, hang on, let me back up. Some people took cover, others just kept writing as the earthquake was going on.
So you're
funny.
telling us that lawyers aren't actually that smart.
Yeah.
We are very focused and purpose-driven.
Yeah, but
Nothing shall err us from, or divert us from that course,
That's like
especially for the bar exam.
debris
You don't
falling
want to
down
take
on
that
your
with everyone.
faces.
we're very focused with no self of
self-preservation. You guys are like, it's either we fail the test or die physically. We fully know what's more important.
The bar did acknowledge the fact that the earthquake had occurred by giving them 10 extra minutes on the test.
Oh, that's good. You know, I can only assume that like some lawyer who just barely passed the test was full of like revenge and used his career or her career to rise through the ranks of politics, and now is the one in charge of fracking the earth to get their cold-hearted revenge on Mother Nature. It's like, no, drill deeper.
Get you yet.
Which I think causes more earthquakes, but who cares? So Matt,
no, he just wants to trigger a new earthquake so people will stop talking about his bar exam.
Oh, Tumblr.
Oh. Anything?
That being said, I had a lovely time up there. Back now, good to be back in the swing of things. And as a unique thing for my week, I was driving to Glendale Courthouse this morning and took a couple of side streets because traffic. Hello, LA. And on getting back onto the freeway, I saw a homeless person with a sign. And, you know, that's not too remarkable these days, unfortunately. But as I was driving under the bridge, I did happen to notice she looked like she was wearing a 20s era gown with what looked like a fur wrapped around her neck. And I thought that's an interesting attire for a homeless person to be wearing. And upon pulling closer and under the bridge where I could actually see without the glare of the sun, I noticed that, yes, indeed, she was wearing a lengthy dress. The fur around her neck, however, was a live possum.
No way. No, I don't believe you.
Cruella DeVille's taking a hit, man. She's...
I kid you not. It was adorable. It looked well cared for.
Adorable?
It was the best looking possum I've seen in a while.
I don't remember
Possums
last
can
time
be cute.
It was an adorable possum. It was sitting on her shoulder like a parrot.
Was it like a dying possum?
She was the homeless pirate of the intersection.
Wow.
So, like, what happens? She walks up to your window, asks for money. If you say no, the possum jumps in and, like, bites your neck. And you're like, ah! And she steals your wallet.
That would be an interesting marketing approach. That's for sure. But no, I had the green light, so I only got to see it in passing. Otherwise, I might have taken a picture and then given her some money for having indulged me in that.
I'm going to post you on the internet. Here's $5.
Thank you. Use my hashtag.
Yeah.
Possum Princess. Yeah, well, anything else going on with your week there, Matt? Or how can you top that?
No, I think that... how do you top a possum on someone's shoulder?
Well,
Two
thanks for going
possums?
first.
Yeah, no, how can we live up to that?
You called me on it. Good luck.
All right, well, how about you, Paleo? How was your week?
It was good. Last weekend we had a yard sale at my aunt and uncle's place, and we sold some stuff.
Cool.
Yeah, I got an old CRT from a neighbor. They just gave it to me because like they were like, we don't need it, so here you have it. So now I have a nice CRT in my room for like retro game stuff.
Nice. Any new videos coming out this week for you or next week?
Yeah, I'm gonna see Angry Birds tomorrow.
That's tomorrow?
Yeah. Well, the early screenings are tomorrow, but officially comes out on Friday.
But Paleo, don't you know they're the spiritual successor to the Lego movie, right? Paleo, you know this. Paleo. Aren't you excited?
I've been so cautiously optimistic about the Angry Birds, but when they said like this is this year's Lego movie, I'm like, I highly doubt it.
How dare you?
You take that back.
How
It's
dare you
this
stand
year.
where he stood?
Yeah, it's this year's Casablanca. What? Excuse me. That's quite. I always kind of
It's
get
this year's Sharknado.
Oh, I know, but like when movies say that, like it's this year's Lord of the Rings, it's like, excuse me, but those are some
They
pretty.
did that for Frozen.
Really? For what movie?
Lion King.
Really?
Yeah,
Oh, they
right.
did. I can kind of see their angle, but
Because of how much money it brought.
Yeah, exactly.
I was just
Welcome
saying,
to the
it sounds like
Billionaire
it-
Boys Club.
It did not live up to it, so technically.
Well, what else? going on with you, Paleo? Is that it?
Yeah, somebody in the chat said like they thought Zootopia was this year's Lego movie, which I'll agree with that. Like as far as like how rewatchable it is.
Nice.
Huh.
I like your style.
Yeah.
Fair. I actually. Oh, okay, I'll save the story for later. Okay. Well, Sarah, Race, and we all kind of share some common denominators here because we all were in Seattle this past weekend.
I wish I could have joined you guys for that one.
What was there a chance that you could have?
No.
Okay, well, don't play with my heart that way. Don't you play with my heart.
Yeah,
I was going, but then I didn't.
Graduations take priority in that ordering.
That's fair. Well, I mean,
whatever.
They only happen once. There will hopefully be another Everfree.
I don't know. There's only been 5, so I doubt there'll be another one.
I mean, you know, they only had what 3,000 people, so I mean, I don't know.
It's not that much, but yeah,
3,000 this year.
Yeah.
Wow.
Which I mean, okay. Well, let's go ahead and get into it. So Ray, Sarah, and I.
Do you want to jump into Everfree right now?
You know what? No, let's wait. What we can do is we do episode and then story time with Everfree and then Q&A, and then we can wrap it up.
Because I could still tell you stuff that happened to me outside of convention stuff.
If you'd like to, go ahead. Same with you, Sarah, and then we can move on to the episode. So go right ahead.
Okay.
How about you, Jeffrey?
Sure.
Or Jeffrey, I'm sorry. Using your slave name. How about you, Race?
Well, thank you. Well, I have now put up my marker for Zootopia viewings at 16. I officially, last night, saw the movie for the first time by myself.
I noticed in the picture, I'm like, oh, Sarah finally tapped out. She's done. She's done.
Yeah.
How many did that make it for you, Sarah?
What?
How many total did that make it for you?
It was 11.
1,000.
No, just
That's
11.
Very prime.
And it's funny because I realize, and I've kind of expected this, but I think some people understand that they have terrible movie-going etiquette and purposely go to see a movie very late in its run. Because there was a family in there. For the record, by the way, a couple things. I went, so this was Tuesday night. Still, there were at least 10 other people in the theater on this weekday. And looking at Zootopia's tracking numbers from last week, it actually went up in attendance. So it actually made more money this Tuesday than it did last Tuesday.
So do you think you'll break $1 billion then, Race?
Okay, so
You had to ask the question, Staber. What is wrong with you?
Here we go.
You got 3 minutes.
Zootopia right now for everybody. I'm planning on making a follow-up video to the Zootopia versus Frozen video. I'm just going to make a Zootopia video based on how its overall run did. And man, I'll tell you guys, it's right now at 971 million. It has 29 million to go. And a lot of
Civil War just passed it.
The Civil War just passed it, which is funny
Wow,
because
so
a lot
we're
of
already
people,
passed it up that quickly?
Yeah, 12 days.
Jeez, but that movie was a whopper. Like that was one of those this is the.
It's not a surprise. Yeah, no, it's. Yeah. I've had some people go, "Oh my gosh, Reese, you must be so sad."
No, the Civil War is also a PG-13 superhero movie. It's got a huge appeal to many demographics, and it's been hyped up with multiple movies. Zootopia is like you said, a surprise. Like wow, that was for an animated feature too. I knocked it out of the park.
And here's the thing. As far as, because I see some people talking about the Japan box office, but Captain America: Civil War, like I said, yesterday was its 12th day. Its 12th day number was just under 6 million. To give you an idea of how good of legs Zootopia has had, its 12th day was higher than Captain America's 12th day.
Really?
Yeah, it was over 6 million on its 12th day on this Tuesday, compared to Captain America. So just a little fun fact for you guys. But okay,
so much fun.
Yay! So as far as the Japanese box office goes, because I saw someone mention it with a sad face. Jason in the chat said the Japanese box office is stagnating. Now they're at 34 million, but last week they were at 27 million. and he has a sad face. However, Jason, I should actually let you know that the Japanese box office works very, very differently than the American box office. In America, everything is like very front heavy. Everything, like pretty much America, we have it's typical to see this downward slope. It starts big and then it goes down. Japan,
like our economy.
Yeah, it has like a flat line effect. So they go off of multipliers. Like if a movie starts out at, say, it has an opening weekend of $3 to $4 million, a good run for it would be to have a 15 times multiplier to get it to about 45, 50 million. That's exactly right now what Zootopia is actually doing. It's now posting higher numbers than it did the previous weekend. Its numbers are actually going up instead of down in Japan. And this is apparently, it's now picking up bigger theaters. It's completely passed up that Conan movie that was huge when it came out. So Zootopia right now is actually doing
Conan?
what everyone... Yeah, there's a Conan...
O'Brien?
No.
O'Malley?
Some guy.
Well, it's a Detective Conan. It's an anime.
Oh, that's right. That's what I
It's a
hear.
very popular
Yeah.
anime.
So okay, so to answer your question, Saber, the way things are looking right now, it's suddenly we have transitioned from being I don't know to it's actually starting to look good. That Zootopia might break $1 billion.
I feel like Disney is almost like, if I was a company, I'd say, okay, how much would it cost us to keep pushing this movie in theaters so we can brag and say we broke $1 billion? Because that's some pretty big bragging rights. Like you can put that on the DVD, when you sell it. Maybe, I don't know.
There's just like they just slap a Post-it note on the DVD when people go to buy it. Like, and this broke $1 billion, by the way.
Yeah, so give us more money.
Well, here's to show how good the legs are right now for Zootopia in Japan. When it first came out after its opening weekend, people were saying it's right now looking good to make 35 million, but with a small chance of it hitting 45. Now, what they're saying after this last weekend is it's going to hit 45 with a chance of it hitting $65 million over there. And all it really needed, we were looking around $50 million as far as what it would need to break it. And it's very well tracking in the right direction. Knock on wood, all of a sudden they take it out of theaters. So it's looking like it's going to happen. And if it does, if that movie does break $1 billion, I'm going to post the video of when I met Judy and Nick at Disneyland.
Oh, now they have to.
Now they're going.
You all heard that. Go out and buy like 5 or 10 dozen tickets.
Yes.
Yeah,
Push it the rest
I'm
of
sure it'll make it just because of Japan.
Yeah.
It's
'Cause
Japan.
It's only been out there for like
Japan
3 weeks so far.
has always been the wild card in the situation, but the movie's doing what a lot of people hoped it would do. It just took longer to get going to this point. So some people are like, uh-oh. It's just word of mouth in Japan is now, it sounds like it's now getting to the older audience, where most people that were seeing it were a younger audience. Because you could tell by sales during the day, they would just fall off in the evening. And then once the school kicked back in, all of a sudden they were just like, it was struggling during the day or during weekdays, where now it's starting to show stronger weekdays. It's showing a better run throughout the day. So here it comes. It has to make 29 million more, and each weekend is another sign. It's very exciting though to kind of keep track of all this. Like I'm like, whoa. So about my etiquette story.
God.
Sorry, before you move on, I just gotta say I'm
not gonna have any
impressed that you
time
actually
for me.
took the time to learn how the Japanese box office works.
Yeah.
Am I a charlatan?
I mean, it's been a very eye-opening experience with this movie because I've never paid this much attention to the box office ever. So yeah, no, I've learned a lot about how it works. It's been fun to follow. It's really exciting because again, this is my favorite movie and I love it. As far as the etiquette side goes, there was this family that was in the theater, and I was so happy that it was my 16th viewing when I dealt with this family, because there's this guy who's sitting in there with his 3 kids and his wife, and he's throughout the entire previews, his kid was literally just running up and down the stairs, up and down the stairs, up and down the stairs. And, his kid was probably like 25, 26. And I'm like, what's going on?
Wait, his kid was 25 or 26?
Give or take 15 years. But I'm like, okay. And then the kid sat down in the movie. All right, whatever. And he made a joke during like the please silence your cell phone thing. He like yelled out to the people in front of him, like, yeah, you turn off your phones, right? 15 minutes into the movie, the fucker pulls out his phone.
Wow.
Like, holds it up, and it's got to be the brightest app I've ever seen, to where it's illuminating the faces of the people sitting behind him. I'm like, really? Like, what? Okay. But yeah, I don't know. There's sometimes I'm like, you have to almost try to. Come on.
So what did you do?
I threw popcorn at him.
Did you really?
But he was.
Did
Please
you?
tell me you did.
The whole bag at once. Just. Like,
No,
I walked up to him.
no, Race,
I didn't throw it from a distance.
I know you. You're the kind of person where if it's something in your mind, you'll say something. So what did you do?
I honestly didn't. And
Wow.
this is the reason
You're
why.
like, excuse me, this is my 16th showing of Zootopia. Can you please give me some peace and quiet?
Well, there were other people in the theater, and I'm like, okay, they're probably going to get pissed off too at this. And then they pulled out their phone, and I was like, oh.
Oh my God, kill me.
Is this a light battle? What's going on? It was a brief period of time, but I was just laughing. Like, the guy didn't try to hide it at all. I'm like, So, I don't know. It just, movie theater etiquette shouldn't be that hard to figure out. I actually found when we went to the drive-in, there's drive-in etiquette that's really interesting.
Really?
Yeah, like if someone accidentally the lights turn on, people
rev
start
my
flashing
engine.
their brights. I can't change the channel. What is this? But yeah, no, it. I mean, the viewing was good. I enjoyed myself despite being by myself. So for anyone that's ever said I can't see it because no one will go with me, you're full of crap. Sarah, how was your week?
If you really want to see a movie, go see it.
Yes, Sarah, I want to hear about Sarah's week. I do.
Week has been a little haphazard. After coming home from Seattle, like directly after coming home, I stayed up till 5 a.m. finishing an art piece that was due Monday morning at 8. So I only had like an hour and a half of sleep, and I almost slept through my class.
Oh God.
Luckily, somebody texted me at 7:15, and I was like, thank God. So I woke up at 7:15, I'm like, shit, I gotta leave. So I threw on some clothes, and I left, and I got some coffee. So, and then yesterday I caught up on sleep. I slept for like 12 hours, and that was nice.
Nice.
So yeah, so I've been working pretty hard on these last final stuff that I have to do. I've got an illustration due tomorrow that I'm almost done with. It's gonna be the Penny Royal Academy book cover that I'm doing. And then yeah, I hope I pass all my classes.
I'm sure you will.
Sarah also officially has worked her last day at Ralph's.
Yeah.
Woo!
My last day at Ralph's was this Monday. And I was like, peace.
And we're
See
gonna
y'all
celebrate by going back to her Ralph's and going to the deli.
Get a sandwich. Go see Zootopia.
20,000 chicken wings.
Oh
and
yeah.
order 2 pounds of shaved pepperoni, which is gonna be
Very thin, please.
Hideous.
Very
They will
thin.
glare at you.
ever. They will hate me.
So the episode this week.
Yeah.
Oh, I had a pretty good week too. Thanks though.
Yes.
Uh,
Let's hear it.
But yeah, let's hear about the episode.
No, I thought you had
Let's
already.
hear about
done-
the episode.
No.
Without his microphone.
You mentioned Sarah's day, and then I was like, oh, okay, I guess that's the last one left. Maybe he had talked about his week
I'm
before I
playing.
got here.
Let's go ahead and hit the episode. So go ahead.
But I want to hear it.
It was a good week, but I want to hear more about this episode.
It was good.
Have you
I
seen
liked
it, by the way?
I've not
No.
have a chance.
Yes,
Okay.
not.
And for the record, for everybody, I barely just squeezed it in because it's a tight fit and needed lube. Because of the convention this week, I don't know. It's just been busy with the vlogs and everything, and so I don't, Saber. I don't actually blame you for not getting to the episode yet. But yeah, thoughts on it? I heard really good things from people at the convention.
I thought it was the best Christmas movie or Christmas episode to come out in May that I've ever seen.
It's the only Christmas episode of anything to come out in May that I've ever seen.
Yeah.
I thought,
That's weird.
Ed and Eddie had something like that, right? Where they did like a Christmas and it was July. Never mind.
Yeah, it was a Christmas in
It's
July.
July.
That was
But
the
that
joke.
makes
That's
But this isn't.
If that episode had come out at Christmas, it would be among my top 10, if not top 5.
Well,
But I
didn't watch
couldn't
it
help
during
sitting
Christmas.
there thinking Cinco de Mayo is barely a memory, and here we are with this.
Well, Matt,
Yeah.
just watch it again during Christmas.
I will, but until then,
I'm sure. Here's
No,
the
no,
thing,
it's
is when I
Christmas.
was
No, Christmas time is for when we watch videos about Memorial Day.
I want to know what person in scheduling
Or
looked at that
Harbor
one and
Day.
said, yes,
Harbor Day.
May.
No, okay. See,
I
here's
ju-
the thing.
Go ahead.
When I was watching it, I had the same thought go through my head where I went, "Why is this Christmas episode
Yeah.
a very good Christmas episode?"
Mhm.
I mean, granted, heartwarming, so we cover a lot of bases, but in theory, holiday episode airing right now, and of course, I think it just comes down to this is their their schedule for the season. And it's
Yeah.
obviously going to actually be airing during the holidays. It's just, oh, well, this is when we can release it. We'll just put it out now as opposed to releasing it close to Christmas. I don't know. That's what made sense to me. I was like, okay, yeah.
I get that it had to come out at some point.
But
It would have
outside of
been
the
around
timing,
Christmas.
outside of the timing.
Yeah.
Outside
Like
of the
when I
timing, thought
first
it was
heard
great.
that this was another heartwarming episode, I'm like, seriously? Another one? Like we've had like 3 or 4 already. And I'm like, dang, they really like this holiday. And I was just like, ugh, okay, another heartwarming episode. But so I might be a little biased on this episode because Christmas carols are some of my favorite movies to watch because
Particularly the Muppet one.
yeah, because I really like all the things that people like. Since it's the same story and same plot, I like to see what artists do differently. And so you always get a different design for all the different characters, the ghosts and stuff. And I really liked Applejack. She looks so pretty in this episode. She was so pretty, and especially Luna in her
Death Eater costume.
Future. Yeah.
I thought
Death
the
Eater
song that they had Applejack sing also really suited Ashley's voice really well.
Mhm.
I was kind of like, this was a good Applejack song.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. Saber, obviously you haven't seen this yet, but as you've probably gathered at this point, unless you ran away. So yeah, like they said, it's basically what this episode is it's a Christmas Carol, Pony
It's the
Edition.
Grinch.
But what I like about this one is that they took a lot of liberty with changing it up from the
Yeah.
original. So it's not like oh, okay, like you'll get the format of everything and you'll know what direction it's going, and you'll probably be able to figure out, oh, okay, if this is how it's starting, this is probably how it's going to end. But I liked what they changed. I thought they changed a lot in it that made it kind of a standalone with the basic outline of A Christmas Carol. So
Mhm.
I mean I thought the songs were pretty good. I'd probably have to go back and watch again, but I don't think any particularly popped out as super catchy or any that I'd expect to hear.
I
people...
really liked Luna's song. It was very Florence and the Machine, and I like that.
Yeah, no, it was. Was that Luna's first song? She sang in the.
She sang before.
With Twilight.
And I also like
Not Twilight
Starlight's song. It was pretty good too. Starlight's or Snowfall or whatever the fuck it is in the episode. Snowfall.
Whatever.
Snowfall hair flakes or whatever. Yeah,
Snow related.
It was
For what it was, for a remake of Christmas Carol and a Christmas episode in the middle of summer. It was good. I liked it. I enjoyed it.
I'll have to
And
check it
also-
out.
People are reminding us that we need to also talk about Newbie Dash. that we did not last time.
Do we really?
Do we have to?
Do we really?
They want it, apparently.
I didn't see
They've
that one
been
either.
talking about it, and
I wanted to say a thing about the Christmas episode.
Well,
What?
too bad we've moved on.
Okay, say what
Because-
you want about the Christmas episode.
I think A Christmas Carol is one of the most
Shut
overdone
up.
Christmas stories ever.
Okay, I agree with
Oh,
that.
totally.
But it is.
No,
So how do
I
you
agree. I
like
agree.
Their interpretation of it.
I
Yeah.
mean, the thing is, like, I had a lot of expectation for this because I saw Big Jim Miller on Twitter saying, this is the episode I'm most proud of that we've ever done. And then I was like, oh, it must be a great episode. But then I was like, oh, it's a parody.
Mhm.
So I'm like,
Yeah.
maybe I just had too much expectation for this. But really, I just don't care enough, especially since it came out in May. Maybe I'll rewatch
Well,
it in December and see how I feel about it then.
Just don't tweet Jim about it. That's,
Yeah, I wouldn't do that.
Yeah, no, I mean, I enjoyed it. I actually, you know what it was about this episode is it just felt like a lot of quality in this episode. With
I like the
music.
singing and everything.
Yeah, the music,
The songs were good. The animations that went with them were good. Especially with Starlight's song. That one was good.
Yeah, I did. There were a few moments that made me laugh in it. One of which was, did anyone else notice that Perry the Platypus showed up?
Vaguely, yes. I was
Yes.
wondering if that was what that was supposed to be.
Yeah, I was like, Perry Duck. And then also, I never realized this until I saw this version of it, that the whole thing that set Scrooge to be evil was in fact
Severus Snape.
Yeah.
Thank you. I almost forgot about him. I was like, when I watched the episode, I'm like, oh my god, it's Snape.
Yeah, I'm like, what's Snape doing here? Where did he come? Why?
Well, after this Harry Potter series ended, work was harder to come by.
Yeah.
Especially after he
Maybe
died.
We shouldn't joke
Yeah,
about
like
this.
especially after Alan Rickman died.
Well, you see reincarnation and ponies and yes.
Rest in peace.
Mhm.
Saber, yeah, check out the episode when you can.
So do we want to talk about Newbie Dash?
Might as well.
Okay.
Further proof that Rainbow Dash is the worst character.
Yeah, I agree.
We've had so
I
many
don't-
episodes like this one where Rainbow Dash is kind of full of herself and then she has to be humbled. And I'm just like, how many times are we going to do this?
Hey.
I personally I didn't like that episode very much.
I
And it
would've
had like one of the
rather seen-
cringiest. It had one of the cringiest parts of like Rainbow Dash, like acting like the other ponies. I was like, oh no.
I would have rather had that time used to show all the training that went into her getting this opportunity.
Yeah.
Like
Rather than, hey, random episode, you're a Wonderbolt now, congratulations.
You perv.
I'm just so tired of this stuff. I'm tired of it. It's weird. Like this season's. I don't know how to describe it. I don't know. Like, if it's because I've been watching the show for so long, I'm kind of like to it all. Like, there are just a few things that actually get me hyped. Where if they say, okay, next episode's a history episode, I'd be like, oh, okay, finally. Like, they got my interest now. But
Well, just because you jack off to history material doesn't.
hey,
I mean, it doesn't pull down the rest of the
don't
show.
knock it till you knob it. All right, so
I'll try it.
please do, and try reading some Civil War documents. Well, never mind. All right.
Oh!
Sherman. All right, so I was gonna say, I didn't even bother to watch this episode. I just don't care. I'm pulling a James Rolfe. I just don't care. To me.
Wait, were you starting to complain and then you didn't even watch the episode?
I'm complaining that hard that I just heard so many bad things and I saw the previews and I'm like, I just don't care. Like, I'm just so sick of these.
For what?
I'm sick of these Rainbow
Maybe not?
Dash Wonderbolt episodes. No, go.
I thought you watched it with us.
No.
I
Oh.
did like that they, spoilers for those that haven't seen it yet, I did like the way they basically showed that in a way teasing can be okay as long as, you know.
Well, yeah, as long as everybody's on the same page, but nobody, like, Rainbow Dash wasn't on the same page as anybody. That's what bothered me about
She's
this
an
episode.
idiot.
Thus is the lesson from the story. At least
an
keep
idiot.
people in on why you're being a dick.
Well, regardless of what this or what that, it ended up producing one of the jokes that made me laugh as hard as I've ever laughed during a Who's line.
Oh.
What was that?
So the whole Saber, this might ring a bell, but during the episode, they keep calling Rainbow Dash Rainbow Crash. She finds out at the end that
Oh, they really
everybody
are
has
dicks.
that everybody has these terrible nicknames, and we never find out what Spitfires is.
Yeah, conveniently.
So during Who's Line, one of our scenes from a hat was what is the actual nickname for Spitfire. And our dear friend Gabriel Brown walks up
Oh,
with
dear.
his mother in the audience,
Oh, Lord.
looks everyone in the eye, and just says, "Swallow."
Wow.
And I thought that was so clever. So clever.
I was.
Because it actually has to do with her name. I just was like, oh my God, Gabe. So
Yeah,
I
Gabe's the dirtiest Christian I've ever met.
I would have thought he would have said something like spit roast.
I was trying to think of something, and the second Gabe put that out, I was like, well, we're done.
You win. Yeah, that's right. We were all. You all can tell that we were all getting ready to have our jokes, and then all of a sudden you see Gabe says it, and we're like, okay, well, that's that. This prompt's over.
I mean, it's got to be something inappropriate, the way that she is like having to whisper it to Rainbow Dash, and then Rainbow Dash is like, "Whoa,
So the
that
next
is
question-
way worse than Rainbow Crash."
The next question is, how did she get that nickname?
Well, you see, coming in for a landing, she flew through a swarm of moths.
She was coming, all right.
Jesus.
Well, so we have this really weird up and down nonsense of good episode, bad episode, good episode, bad episode.
It's like Star Trek all over again.
So I don't know.
Well, that's a good sign.
Well, so is that it for the episodes then? We'll move on to the
The mysterious convention known as Everfree?
Yes.
yeah.
Yes, I need to make an announcement though.
What's up?
Did you ever get that
Michael-
key card to work?
Michael Calhoun has posted on Twitter a very important thing.
What?
We didn't have a huge amount of food posts, and apologies if we missed anybody's. We kind of got this started a little bit late, but apparently there are Zootopia gummies that exist.
Oh,
yeah?
my.
Good.
And Sarah, I know what I'm eating for the next 3 weeks.
I was looking at the retweeted picture you had of the Zootopia cappuccino.
Oh, is there
I
latte
much
art?
approve.
Yes, it is.
It goes
Yeah.
beyond latte art.
Let me see.
But it's like 3D latte art, not 2D latte
I
art.
don't
It's
see
like
it.
whipped cream or something like that. I don't know.
Did you retweet it?
He did.
Yes.
Let me see.
14 hours ago.
Oh wow. Okay, it's been a while.
14 hours? No, it wasn't 14 hours ago.
What does 14H mean on Twitter?
14
14
hours.
hours.
Yeah.
That's-
4:25 a.m. on May 18th.
14 hours ago.
Yeah, but that's when the
no.
person posted it, not when he retweeted it.
Ignore me, everybody. I don't understand Twitter.
Okay, well, you're learning. You're learning. Yeah, it's like the second post down on my page.
Well,
Oh,
my
yeah,
next question was going to be why you were up at 4:25 a.m.
I don't have.
All right, move on to the Everfree Northwest stories.
Everfree. Yes, and I just saw this when I was on Twitter. I saw that Cadet Redshirt has posted a picture that she drew based off of the Who's line.
Oh, this I must see.
I'm gonna love it, and I'm gonna spread it around. There we go.
Oh wow!
I just retweeted it.
Oh, Cadet, you sweetheart, you.
It looks so badass.
And protect time.
That's adorable.
Once we complete, I think we kicked something. Did we like beat up a baby or something? I think we did. My baby.
Well, I threw. You gave birth on
baby.
Stage.
I haven't seen the Who's line yet. I have no idea what you're talking about.
We'll have to watch it later. All right, so Every Northwest was from Friday to Sunday this past weekend. It was in Seattle, Washington. It was the 5th convention they've had, right? Or is it the 4th? It's been 5. It's been 5 years.
Yeah, 2012, 13, 14, 15, and this was year number 5 for them.
Wow. So this is one of the longer running conventions. I think only BronyCon's older. So Every Northwest, one of the larger, older conventions, and they clocked in around 3,000 people at this convention. Though, which is, I'm not saying it's surprising, but the venue they had was this DoubleTree Hilton, and the way they had the setup, it wasn't okay. So BronyCon is in a big convention center, and I think that's the only con out of the Brony fandom that does that. Everything else is usually at a hotel. So, and this hotel was like kind of windy with its hallways. So, I'm
kind of
very, very windy. So,
took us 20 minutes to find our room when we first got there.
So 3,000. I'm like, wow, that I wouldn't have guessed that much by looking at the people walking around. But then again,
right.
There you go. Like, I guess they had that many people coming in and out. The panels are huge.
No, see what happened is that the hotel swallowed up like 1,000 of them.
No joke. Like it was. I said this at least twice during the convention that it was really hard to gauge how many people were there. I mean, panel wise, like I know that we had an evening panel for Bronies React, and we had standing room only in our panel room. So. I mean, there were signs that there were a lot of people there, but there was never like a single moment where it was like, holy crap, there are 3,000 people in this hotel. Oh, God, oh, man. Oh, God, oh, man.
The con took great care of us. We got to work with Scott, Drew, very good people, excellent folks in our book. And we recommend to you all, if you guys are on the fence about conventions for next year, we highly recommend Every Northwest because just if you take good care of us, we'll totally recommend the con. So and they take good care of themselves.
It's the biggest.
Go on.
Is it the biggest one on the West Coast?
I think
probably.
I think they are, but Babs is catching up. But Everfree is still, I think, 1,000 or so people ahead. So they got a pretty big.
Yeah, it's older too, so
better established.
Yeah, this one. I was gonna say this one has, it has the history. So I think that this is one that's always going to be a contender up there.
What I was going to say, though, is the fact that they take good care of us, and that speaks loudly on their behalf of how they take good care of the show staff. They take good care of the attendees. They take good care of their fellow staff who are like the unsung heroes. So the con overall is very competent and knows how to handle itself. And not even for a moment did I notice any like alarm. And in most cons there will be one moment of like, oh wow, something's hitting the fan, but I never saw that at this con. It was really smoothly. So the
only sign that anything was at ever an issue was them saying, oh, we had to take care of a few things. Like I don't think we ever saw or witnessed anything, which is another good sign, because problems are always going to arise. You're not going to have a convention that does not have a problem. It's how they handle it and how they are able to, keep as much of that out of the public eye that is a sign of a very well prepared convention. So yeah, props to these guys. The staff were always willing and ready to help. Like you said, Saber, we on our end they made it a very comfortable convention to go to, and a very easy one to work with.
I'm just glad that they treated us nicely. I mean, a lot of cons do, but they had a community green room, and that was very much so appreciated.
It's funny. Go on, sorry.
Yeah, and because we got some stories too, but we got and I'm just trying to run through my mind of like which one's the best to tell. But that okay. So the community green room, I think this is the first con that's ever done this, and there is an interesting divide between show staff, guest, and then community guest, and rightfully so in some regards because the show staff are professionals and they belong to the intellectual property that is My Little Pony. So this isn't them coming out to celebrate the show. This is them on business. And the thing about the community guests is some of them are there on pleasure, some of them are there on business. So whatever. There's a lot of politics behind it all. But Everett Northwest made a community green room, which was being ran by this one lady named Michelle, who was awesome. She took good care of us, her and her team. And it was a great place for us to sit down. Like we watched cartoons with other community guests. We got to eat like snacks and drink sodas. And it was a good place to hang out at nighttime. You know, once we all wanted to regroup and just chill out, meet some new faces and new names. And I loved it. I wish every con would do that. It gets rid of any kind of like sissy sassy drama with show staff and community guests, you know, fraternizing, which even in that time, I feel like that can be blown out of the water a bit out of proportion. But for what it is, it was a good idea, a good solution for a very petty problem. And props to Everett Northwest for being mature about that, and also not just throwing us in the room empty, but taking good care of us too. So you know, mad shout out to them.
Yeah. No, and like you said, it completely because there's people that will work these conventions, and sometimes they have less knowledge of exactly who's there outside of knowing what they need to be doing, and we sometimes, you know, even though we're told you guys have access. And usually, typically, the whole reason that we'll go into a green room is to get that few minutes of like, okay, we need a breather, just going to sit down. We're about to go back out and, you know, do whatever we're about to do. Because we're on our legs a lot at these conventions.
Yeah, we're always busy. And always busy.
And it completely took away, like you said, it's petty, it's silly, it's stupid, but we not once had to deal with that one person that's giving you stink eye going, oh, I know why you're in here.
Yeah, because we're not like
Larson. You just want to meet him in Larson.
And we're like, no, keep him away from us. There was a funny moment where Larson came up to the green room with us to our, and we're like, Larson, you're a community guest. And he's like, oh my God. And I'm like, here, please help yourself to the styrofoam bowl of golden fish crackers. And he's like, don't mind if I do. I'm like, can we interest you in a Diet Coke? And it was great because we're all great sports about it. And we're just very happy that Everett Northwest took good care of us. So
yes,
it's funny because somebody in the chat said, when I said Michelle took care of us, they said Michelle Creever. So now I just imagine Michelle Creever running back and forth like, where did that contract did I sign?
Monique's just like, you gotta work for it, dear. Sorry.
Yeah, get them less complaining, more crackers.
Well, and that's another thing is that you know, Black Griffin, the Creevers were out there. It's been since September that we've seen them, so a solid half year since we've seen that group. You know, they were lively as usual, but of course, typically whenever we get a chance to talk to them, half of them are asleep. But it was, you know, it's
yeah. We got to see them. Like, this was the con. It's so weird. Because after the con, I on the flight home, I always kind of think, like, where did my time go? Like, it's okay. So I want to say something very pessimistic, and I've kind of relayed this over to you. Maybe this isn't the best place to say it, but I'll say it anyway. Cons, for some reason, make me think about death, and let me explain myself.
I even tweeted.
Let me explain myself. All the con chairs are like they might be like sneaking around the chat and they're like, what's he saying? And let me explain. So it's kind of like you're born and you're like, I'm excited for life, and that's the way I am with these cons on Thursday night. I'm like, yeah, it's just started, and then Sunday rolls around, you're like, oh, it's over, and it's like, oh, I'm dying. And it's a really weird thing. Like, I get depressed, like the post-con depression hits me, not to mention that thanks to my theory of this, I also am thinking about death on the way home. So it's a really bad combination. But no, the cons are great. I like being alive. And I like being surrounded by nerds. It's a good thing because it's like, okay, well, I'm dying, but there's Kansas City next week. But no, it's weird. That's a really weird analogy, but it's the idea of the passage of time and how quickly it goes. Because we get there on Thursday, and Race and I, we're like, don't say it, don't say it. No, it's Friday. Don't say it. It's Saturday. Don't say it. Oh, it's Sunday. Oh, the con's over.
You know, in this convention, I don't know if it was
Scott's
just
in the chat, by the way.
Oh, shout out to Scott Thornwing. He's he's one of the head honchos of Everfree Northwest who took great care of us. So shout outs to Thornwing, to Scott.
I was gonna say that this convention, I don't know what it was about this convention. Sarah had a theory, but this convention by far went faster than any convention I recall.
Agree.
And what's weird about that is one of the earliest ones I arrived to, and one of the latest ones I've left.
Yeah, I agree. It went by so fast, and I can't even recall, I can't piece together certain days because it's all blur. And I'm like, what did I do? What happened? What's your theory, Sarah?
My theory is that it went by so fast is because 50% of the time we spent either walking to the convention from our bedroom.
Yeah.
Or trying to find a place to eat.
Yeah.
Well, it took us half the convention to realize that there was a lot faster way to get to the convention from our room.
We're dumb.
Yeah.
But it's documented in the vlogs, which you guys can check out. Thursday and Friday are up. Saturday is actually going to go up here. I'm probably going to make it live right at 7:30, right when this, I was going to say vlog, when the podcast is going to end. But yeah, I mean, overall, the Who's Line event went really well.
That was one of our best Who's Lines, and I made sure that we were prepped for it. And which we always do, but way in advance, which paid off. And it's so great having the main four, myself, Gabe, Henry, and Race up there. Plus, we had Michael Krieber on piano, and we had Dusty as host, and we had the Chemo Crusaders as the special guest. And they killed it. That was one of our best Who's Lines by bar none. The only one I could think of that was probably that can compare is the BronyCon 2015 one. So, and that one I thought was that we were all perfect, and this one is right up there. So yes, that was great. Yeah,
a great crowd. And then again, the Bronies react. It was cool because they gave us an hour-and-a-half time slot, and it was actually funny because on the board posted outside, it actually there was a typo. Instead of starting at 6:15, it said it was starting at 3:15.
Yeah. That was interesting.
So it was a 3:15 to 7:45.
Strap in, buckaroos. We're going in.
But it was great. I mean, the crowd was lively the whole time. People, I have to go back, but I remember I don't recall getting too many questions that were like, oh, we get asked this a lot. It felt like
we never got asked once, to my knowledge, of can we be on Bronies React? And I was like, wow, that's a first.
So yeah, I mean, it was great. And then we did the ripping panel directly after that, with KP and Josh Scorcher to the Last Unicorn. Woo. Saturday was a long day for us.
It was a long day. When we laid down, we were like, oh, okay, that was a day's over. Tomorrow's Sunday, and then the con's officially over.
And then Sunday, we spent more time, I think, walking to restaurants. So.
Here, let's go. I want to share some stories, okay? So
do it.
Here we go. So the first story I'm going to share with you all, funny enough, is from our last adventure here at Everfree Northwest. So we got to use Uber a couple times during our stay here at Everfree Northwest because at some cons we're fortunate enough to have a pair of wheels volunteered from a fellow friend to take us around. At Windy City, we had Joe. At Babs Con, there were places for us to walk, and since Sarah wasn't there, it was easier for Race and I just to gorge ourselves on just fattening foods. All when Sarah's with us, it's like
You're welcome.
no, when Sarah's with us, it's like we have our little monocles and top hats. Like, I do believe we'll have the wine and non-gluten. When Sarah's I was like, we're gonna have as many nachos as we can. It's a complete difference. And Sarah's also like our mother of the group. She keeps us in line. And so when she's not there, it's like, woo, like security deposit be damned. We're gonna break this. No, I'm joking.
I kiss my mom on the lips.
I hope you brush your teeth before you're dead. No, but so we, like, for example, at one Uber adventure, it was like 1 a.m. Race and I were out and about. Sarah's at the back of the room. And I said, Race, I'm hungry. Let's go get some Taco Bell. And as we were walking over to the Taco Bell, it became abundantly clear that they aren't the indoor part of it's closed. They close at 10 p.m. The only way we could actually get any food is if we had a vehicle and go through the drive-through. And I already knew that there's a good chance that they won't let us walk up to it, because I think in the past there's been some instances where people have reached through the drive-through and attacked the employees. So now it's like a liability to open up.
That's why we can't have nice things.
Exactly. Some idiots had to ruin it for everyone else.
Why can't they do it like a gas station though?
I don't know. I don't know. So we
Jeez, oh man.
Jeez, oh man, this is just crazy. But so we're just brainstorming outside the Taco Bell, like how can we get in? And then Race, my good friend, came up with an idea because he saw a fellow con goer pull up in his truck. Race, you want to take it from here?
Yeah, so I see this guy on his sleeve. It says Corvette, and as we were walking around the convention or the concert area of the convention, just probably 30, 45 minutes before this, I saw a guy wearing a Corvette shirt, and I remember just going, "Oh, that's a Corvette shirt," not knowing, oh, that information is going to be potentially useful. And I see this guy. He's in this truck, windows down. He's ordering, and I'm like, "Oh my gosh!" And just as he's finishing up ordering, because I didn't want to interrupt him or scare him away. It's like, hey, are you from the convention across the street? And he's like, yeah. I'm like, hey, would you mind doing us a really big favor? And as I am about to explain, he kind of holds up a finger because there's a voice, the voice is coming out of the intercom. And he's like, the guy says, I can't help you out. And we're like, what? He says, I can't take your order. What? And I turn around, like, knowing this guy obviously can see us. I turn around to look inside the Taco Bell at the cashiers, and I see the guy doing the I'm watching you movement with his fingers. He's like, I'm watching you and you're not gonna get your food. And I was like, oh,
so at that moment, see, Race and I, we aren't aggressive in the sense that we're gonna like rock the boat or pick fights with people, but we are very.
But you're hungry.
But no, well, Race and I, we don't take crap from people either. Like if someone's gonna shove us, we're gonna go, oh, excuse me, and then probably after having all the information presented to us, so we know what making an informed decision, push them the fuck back. But so
we do our research before we.
Yeah, we're like, but let's not just invade the Middle East. Let's ask ourselves if this is all right. So. So I am like, oh, now it's on. Now it's on. So I'm like looking all over the place like, there's gotta be another brony around here somewhere. And I'm like, no, there's not. So it's come down to this. I call an Uber. And I said, some Jamaican guy named John's like, hello. And I'm like, hey, I'm hailing an Uber. Listen, I don't want to waste your time. We just want to drive through the Taco Bell. Are you cool with that? And he's like, yeah, man. So then he starts driving towards us, and he picks us up. And John's the coolest guy ever. And I tipped him $10. I said, listen, I don't want to waste your time. I don't know how this calculates it, but here's $10 in cash. And he's like, I'm like, I'm not sure how you Uber guys work. He's like, he didn't really deny it. He's like, whatever. And I'm like, just put it on the passenger seat. So John's a nice guy, and Race and I are like, yeah, we're so smart. I bet, John, this is the first time you've had this happen. He's like, no. He's like, having some guys call me to drive through the drive-through. No, you're not the first one. And I'm like, we're like, what? What? And he's like, of course not. He goes, I get called all the time. And then Race and I are like, oh, that's right, marijuana. We're like, oh, all these people who are probably high at 1 in the morning saying, like, we gotta get Taco Bell. We're so hungry. We're high. And John's like, yeah, I'm on. So the Taco Bell guys in the intercom, they take our order. And by the way, they said like, hey, thank you all for getting a ride. And that was enough to diffuse the situation where Race and I like grumble, like fine. And
you can literally see like our transition on the vlog where we go from like, oh, we're gonna get it, we're gonna go, yeah, no problem, man. That's cool.
Yeah, cool. Fine. You win. Niceness. So we get our food and we go back to our hotel room and I eat like half of mine and then we fall asleep. But that was fun to get an Uber just to try. It's like wow, like we will do whatever it takes by any means necessary down to get food because this guy threw down the gauntlet.
Which actually makes him a fantastic businessman.
Yeah, no kidding.
You bought that Taco Bell out of principle.
Except the fact that he could have had our money 10 minutes sooner. Like you said, it's the principle of the whole thing. We understood the reasoning to it. It just could have been handled better on his part to prevent us from having to go the extra length on ours.
Yes, I agree. All right, so moving on to the next story. So, like I said, this story is from the last is our last adventure at Everfree Northwest. So Ray, Sarah, and I took our suitcases and our luggage and we took it upstairs to the community green room where they watched it. Thanks again to them for watching our stuff. And so we communicated with the other friends and folks, and we heard from Monique and Gabe that they're all going to go to some sushi place and that we were invited to join. So we chilled out in the actual green room with some other people, and we were having fun, like taking. Okay, maybe I should. I'm like, never mind. I'll say it. So Scott, don't get angry, but we took like a bottle cap and we like spun it off the top of the roof like a UFO, and it soared down, and it was cool. But it didn't. Don't worry, it landed in a trash can, so it's fine.
Nice shot.
Thank you. That was deliberate. But after acting like 6-year-olds, we all got an Uber with because Bash called a Uber, and myself, Sarah, Race, Cool Breeze, who's a friend of ours as well, and Bash got into this SUV, and we drove down to the little mall area, and we met up with the rest of the group at this sushi place, which, by the way, was totally not ready for a group of 20 and could not even facilitate that even if they wanted to, because it's one of those like assembly line sushi places with like this plates of sushi on like a little like belt, like a luggage belt. So we all stood there for about 10 minutes, and then the news was starting to be passed around like this isn't going to happen, and we went outside and we all just kind of stood around. And then and people were brainstorming other options. Do we go to Buffalo Wild Wings? Do we go to somewhere else? And Race the entire time was like, well, there's the AMC. Let's go see Zootopia. And we're like, no. So
I did say that, yeah, a few times. So
he did a couple times.
Sincerely, I'm sure.
I did. Yeah.
So so Monique and I guess the Creebs and Gabe and his group got into a car.
The Creebs. Got
into a car that they had. And they're like, we're gonna go to the spaghetti factory or whatever it's called. It's only a half a mile away, and they drove off. And we all talked like, well, you know what? We can walk there. We'll make it. We don't need an Uber. We can walk there. So we started walking, and it started raining and sprinkling, and Sarah and I were kind of in the same mindset of like grumble, while like everyone else, like Race is like parading around having a good time, and I saw Henry looking at a bird as it flew by, and I'm like, Henry, is that a cool bird? He's like, yeah. So after walking after walking what was definitely over half a mile, we finally arrived to our destination. We're cold, we're wet a little bit, and we walk into the spaghetti factory, and the Creepers are always loving and great, and they're like, oh, y'all made it great, the table's ready, and we all sit down. And at that moment I'm like, oh, it's almost time for us to leave. But I asked Bash if he can hail us an Uber, because by the way, my phone data was dead, so I couldn't even hail an Uber for myself. So Bash had to hail us an Uber to pick us up to take us back to the hotel so we can make it in time to get to the airport, because there's one last ride, which was, by the way, a limo that we got into. I guess some attendees or some other con staffers had like a limo that they had, and they drive folks around, which is awesome. So as soon as we sit down at the spaghetti factory for what was about maybe a minute or two, we instantly got right back up and said our goodbyes and got in the Uber and went back to the airport.
By the way, don't forget how we got to the airport.
Oh, it was the limo.
We were like, huh? Granted, it was probably just another Uber, but
yeah, we had a little old school limo with that we were driven in. It was great. It was
How
fantastic.
old school? Like back from the 80s and 90s with that big old boomerang antenna on the back?
You're a car guy, Race. Explain it.
Yes.
There you
Excellent.
go. Yeah.
It was a good old Cadillac limousine. Yeah, I mean, again, Everfree Northwest, really positive experience out there. So happy that we were able to make it back out. I haven't been there since 2013, and obviously the history of, you know, it's where Saber and I first met. It's the first convention I had ever gone to, so
We got to see some new faces too. Cadet and Belmont is his online name, but Cadet Red Shirt, who is in the chat right now, one of our very loyal viewers and very, 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 very good friend. We got to meet her and hang out with her and have lunch, and she gave us these awesome like coloring books that she came up with all on her own and drew up for us. And it was super sweet. Like
she gave me awesome pens that I use today.
She treated us way too good.
It was awesome. It was absolutely awesome.
Yeah, and there was actually a story when we were trying to figure out lunch on Saturday, I believe. We were waiting outside. We were told the shuttle picks up at 2:05, and we're standing out there as the shuttle rolls up at about 2:03. But they told us it'll say Seattle Express on it. This one doesn't say Seattle Express. It's completely blank, and there's a sign on the door that says employees only.
Employees only.
And Saber even asked, he's like, "Hey, is this the hotel shuttle?"
They said
and
no.
The guy said nope. Like, he doesn't say what it is, so obviously we're like, well, it's obviously not for us. He drives off. We sit there for another 10 minutes and finally ask, like, "Hey, when is this shuttle supposed to get here?" "Oh, it already left."
Grumble, grumble, grumble. Because Sarah was dead set on getting some Spaghetti Factory, and almost like reattuning it for, is it the proper word, whatever, for my jokes about it during San Diego convention. So yeah, she's like, "You get the meat sauce this time." We never had a chance. So
of course we sat in an old Spaghetti Factory for 3 minutes and then had to leave the airport.
And also, by the way, on Thursday night we went across the street to Denny's, and we were sitting down. We're all tired and getting our food and catching up like good friends do. And we had this guy walk in who had like a tattoo on his neck. But he was wearing like a kind of a suit, and he was a shorter guy, but his suit was too big for him. He had a big old backpack, and he like put the backpack down on his side of the booth because we're both in booths, and he starts talking to us. And I'm like, oh god, here we go. Like, we're not even like the con hasn't even officially started. We already have like this is happening. And the only things I can really recall from this guy is he was talking about like family being important and how awesome his backpack was. And
didn't he talk about getting like detained at one point?
Yeah,
he's like, I'd fight.
He's like, didn't he say something? He's like on the run or something. I'm like,
yeah.
Stop telling us this. I don't want to be like by association related to your crimes. I just want my burger. That's all I want. Like, and stop talking.
Then he got up.
And Race was worried. You were worried.
His backpack.
You thought it was a bomb.
His backpack was sitting there. I even asked you, I'm like, is it beeping or something? Like,
yeah, you thought it was a bomb. And then like he's behind our booth are a couple of these like little like claw machines. And one of them's where it's like, I guess like you can win like a PSP or something like that. And he's like, I could see him, like his face kind of moving around it. And Sarah's like, I think I can hear him. And I'm like, I can see him. And you can hear him whispering, going like, he's like, wow, that's really nice. He's looking at like the DS and everything.
Is that a menu?
And then he came back with his 2 ghost to go food, and we're like, safe travels, man.
Ghost.
With his ghost, and then he left. But yeah, that was interesting.
Yeah, I didn't get this one on camera that well. I did get it on camera, but it doesn't really translate well in the vlog. But yeah, what was funny, what made me laugh about the whole situation was that when he started talking to you, and then you like kind of made it clear, like, oh, okay, yeah.
I'm telling him to stop. I'm like, I'm giving you every single like signal in the book to leave us alone, please, without me deliberately saying, leave me alone.
You turn your back to him and go back to talking to us, and he's still talking to you.
Like, yeah, he doesn't care. He just keeps talking. He carries on the conversation, though my back is facing him. And listen, I'm not trying to be mean, but there's a certain point where it's like you have to be aware enough to know that when someone's telling you to, like, okay, have a good night, leave me alone. Because I just got to this con. I went to talk to my friends, and I went to eat, and then I want to go back to...
and you were jet lagged, like...
Yeah.
Like you were.
I was on a flight for 4.5 hours. Leave me alone. But I'm trying to think of any other funny stories at the con. We saw a raccoon when we got out of the shuttle at the convention. Like we got out because we saw a cat, and then we saw a raccoon that was like twice the size of the cat, and we're like, whoa.
Dinner.
So overall, Africa Northwest, great convention. We would love to go back again next year. We love working with the con and doing our part to promote them and perform for them. And the con themselves are extraordinarily competent, kind, generous, and professional. So, Everfury Northwest, 10 out of 10.
Yeah, and then the next one that's going to be coming up is Midwest Brony Fest.
Yes, that will be coming up here, not this coming weekend, but the next, I believe, right?
Yeah. It's
got
basically
some back-to-back
a week away.
conventions, yeah.
A week and a half away.
Wow.
So yeah, buckle up. And then more blogs will be coming their way. During the React panel, I showed a preview. First time I've ever done this. I showed a preview, small 5-minute video of what's to come in the new Bronies React. So some surprises that people got to see. I cut it out partially because there was some music in there that would have actually blocked the whole React panel.
Yeah.
In some countries. So that's a small work in progress. But yeah, no, I mean, again, had a great time. And yeah, more to come this year.
Absolutely. Well, folks, we got about 14 minutes or so left here to do some Q&A before Race has to run off to his father's birthday. How greedy of him. I know that... let me go ahead and scroll down here. Do you all need a...
I got a quick... While we take a potential break, I have one last shout out I need to do from Everfree Northwest.
Yes.
There is a gentleman in the fandom by the name of Earth Pony, and if you've ever walked through the vendor halls at some of these conventions, you may have seen these laser printed nice wood carvings.
Oh, I have a couple of those. I have one of Sunset and Twilight.
This guy made me. What happened was basically the story goes that he kept seeing me talking about Zootopia, whatever, and he finally went, "Okay, I gotta check this out," and he loved it, and he started making these Zootopia, laser prints, and I was like, "Oh my god, that's so great!" And he's like, "Do you want one?" And I worked together with them, and Sarah helped out, and even Henry did a little work on it to get this. It's like my favorite pose of Nick and Judy. It's Nick leaning up basically on Judy's head, and her ears just going to the side, and she's like looking up like, phew, 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 phew. And yeah, he just out of kindness just made this for me, and I love it so much, and I need to put it up somewhere special because I have this Zootopia. I'm going to take a picture of it once I take it out of the packaging. It looks so good, and if you guys do see this guy at a vendor table at a convention, go support him. Go. He has great stuff, and it's what I love about these in Paleo. You could back me up with this, is that they're nice because they're something that can last for a really long time. It's really like nice quality, and it's sturdy and it's tough, and it'll tough out time.
All right. On that note, you all ready to hit in some Q&A?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, so I'm just gonna blitz through the stuff and see if we can mix up some time here since we missed some last week. So, first question here is from. So I'm just scrolling, make sure I'm catching them all here. I don't see anything from it. It's too early on, and I'm gonna include these pictures from the Twitter here on the upload. Okay, here we go. So, R. Miller says, so what does the playbook... that's not related to the podcast. All right, here we go. Buzz says, what's your next con, and will Toodles be joining you? So, our next con is Midwest Brony Fest, and that will be just myself and Race, unfortunately. Sarah, what's your next con? Which one are you going to next, Sarah?
I don't know.
Sarah.
Usually it's just cons that are close, because I can't do the flights.
Like Seattle.
Well, hopefully
Seattle is different.
Yeah, no.
I was gonna say
I would make the trip to Seattle next year. I'm gonna make it a point if it happens.
We have hopefully we know that Pacific PonyCon was the last one that you went to, and Well, actually, I should say in San Diego. But we know that they're going to be back next year. So hopefully, if we're able to work something out.
Yes, that was a great con. That was a very relaxed convention, and it was cool. That was a nice change of pace. All right, so the next question here is from, scrolling up here a bit, just making sure I'm not missing anything, is from Kestrel saying, who is your favorite Overwatch character? And he says, I want to fight you when it comes out. So, guys.
Judy Hopps.
Okay.
Nick Wilde.
Okay. Matt, you got to play some Overwatch. I think you'd like it a lot.
No, well, someone drew one of the characters as Judy Hopps.
Yeah, someone drew Judy Hopps in Tracer's outfit.
Oh, really?
Oh.
Yeah.
So her.
And it was really cute.
Huh. What about you, Sarah? Who's your favorite?
Oh, boy. To play as, it's
both.
It's a tie between Tracer and McCree. And then favorite as a character in general is Zarya. Because she's awesome.
How about you, Paleo?
I think my favorite to play so far has been Junkrat.
Yeah, he's fun.
As far as like character, I think Pharah, just because she's basically Samus.
My favorite character to play as would have to be Bastion, because I like him to play the game. And then my favorite character as far as who's the most interesting, I like Mercy. I can't wait to find out more about her. She's cool. I like the variety of females in this game. All right.
Yes, it's very good.
It's very, very good. All right.
Lesbians.
So we got another one here saying from Cadet saying, what was your favorite and least favorite part about Everfree this past weekend? We've already been bragging so much about them. Favorite part for me is just how well they took care of us. Least favorite, I'd just have to say probably our hotel being on the other side of the venue. That was quite the walk, but that's not like a huge inconvenience or problem. That was just the nature of the beast.
Least favorite was probably just the ride situation for our circumstance. We like. A couple times it should have worked out really well. Like with the shuttle, the timing really would have worked well if the shuttle didn't drive off without us.
Yeah.
But even then, they even helped us out. I think it was Sunday for closing ceremonies. We helped out there, and they were able to get us a ride back because we're like, we're not gonna make it back.
Yeah.
So, yeah, no, I mean, it was just a little bit of traveling, but even then, I mean, there weren't really too many downsides to this convention. It was good. I just wish it lasted longer. That's the thing for me.
All right, question from Alex saying favorite Lonely Island song. I don't really have one.
I don't know. I don't really listen to their music much. I know the Like a Boss and On a Boat.
I just had sex.
That's about it.
Another question from Alex saying thoughts on the Tetris trilogy being produced by the guy who made Food Fights. I don't know anything about that.
How do you make one movie about Tetris, let alone 3? Like
multiple levels.
Oh,
like and God, the guy that did Food Fight. Oh Jesus, it's gonna be a cluster.
Oh wait, Food Fight.
Food Fight is the really bad Charlie Sheen. Poop
I was thinking of
animation.
Sausage Party. That new movie that's coming out with Seth Rogen. I thought he already was signed on to do more movies. I'm like, shouldn't we wait to see how this one does first? Well, good. Tetris sequels. I'm excited.
Norris.
By the way, shout out to the previous question for the Lonely Island. If you like Lonely Island, check out a group called Here Come the Mummies.
I made a Lonely Island parody for anyone that hasn't been around long enough to know. I like a
Faust.
Like a false.
Nora Mermaid said to us, just wondering, how tall are you two? So how tall? We'll throw that question out to the entire
5'10".
I'm
5'3".
I'm 6 feet tall.
5'8".
Matt, how tall are you?
6'4".
Woohoo!
Twice as tall as Sarah.
All right. Next question here is from Let me scroll up here. Is one from Loyal saying, speaking of conventions, care to elaborate on this comment about Candlelight Gardens? And I'll read the comment here. It's from a guy named Wizard Mom saying, so great and powerful. There's a guy named David and has appeared at Candlelight Gardens when Saber Spark kind of roasted him on stage. All right, yeah, let me explain this
What?
one. No, I'll explain. So Candlelight Gardens was a convention back in 2012. It was in scenic Strongsville, Ohio. It was So Great and Powerful, who does pony music or used to. He was there. And he's a shy fellow. And we were able to convince him to join a panel myself on stage for one of our Bernie Breakdown panels, to which we would ask him questions. And at first, he was kind of like So Great and Powerful wasn't really engaging with us because he was shy. So I thought, okay, I'll play off of this and piss him off if I can, or try to be outrageous. And that worked. The audience got some laughs out of it. But because I read a Reddit thread once back in the day where somebody had the video of that saying that I was an asshole for talking over him and like roasting him. And I'm like, you fools, don't you understand? Like, if it wasn't for me prompting this stuff, he wouldn't have said anything. Like, he even said afterwards he had fun doing this and that he like was grateful that I went that approach. So I wasn't like, I was somewhat roasting him, but I wasn't like, it wasn't out of like cruelty or anything. That was just me trying to get him out of his comfort zone, which worked quite effectively.
You're an asshole.
I know. That's actually the truth behind it. All right. Another question here is from Ozzy All saying, what is the most favorite moments at this I would think even to say convention because he said at this conversation. Because I don't know about you guys. I like the time I talked about the Taco Bell Uber.
That
was a good time.
My favorite part is when I wasn't there.
That was my favorite part.
Me too.
Oh.
God, I mean, again, the Who's line went really well.
Yeah, Who's line? Bernie's react was actually outstanding.
Yeah, that was good.
I think actually, you know, the react somehow might have had just as much energy as the Who's line. It was like, holy cow!
I think it might have more because
Might have more.
Saturday panels
Have
tend
you
to be a
uploaded
bit
that already?
energetic. He's uploaded both.
Oh, yeah. I'll have to watch that.
Yeah, man, I'm on it.
Question from Kyle saying, are you and Race aiming to come back to San Diego for Pacific PonyCon? We kind of talked about that earlier. We hope so. We hope that they have us back. We'd love to visit again and put on a show for them.
Yeah,
I
we'd
want to
love
go too.
Yeah, Paleo.
Yeah,
The
I would
ocean's
like to go
right
back there.
That's
It's a very
old
good
stomping
venue.
ground for me.
All right,
I know
Shyfro.
that. Oh, go on.
Shyfro says, would you rather be a potion maker or an enchanter? Huh. Interesting.
Enchanter sounds like less work.
True.
Enchanter sounds more like fantasy focused. I'd want to be an enchanter. Potion maker.
Yeah, probably an enchanter.
Potion maker could be something like a pharmacy guy or something.
Pharmaceutical. Yeah.
I work in the pharmacy. Those guys are more like witches. All right, another question here from Jory saying Nathan Drake or Indiana Jones.
Indiana
Oh
Jones.
boy.
Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
Depends on how much comic relief you're expecting.
I like them both. I think am I the only person that's played all of the Uncharted games in this chat?
I haven't.
I played part of one thanks to you.
Yeah. Oh God. They're like, God, Nathan Drake is so based off of Indiana Jones. They're just like almost like Nathan Drake is just a young Indiana Jones.
Well, I mean, Indiana
They're both
Jones
so great though.
is like set the bar in a lot of ways for the adventurer genre. All right, got a question here from Nora saying favorite cake flavor.
Oh.
Ooh.
Chocolate.
Chocolate.
German
with
chocolate.
strawberry. Yeah.
German chocolate. I also like
Oh yeah.
red velvet.
Yeah.
Yes.
What about you, Paleo?
Favorite what?
Cake flavor.
Cake flavor.
Oh,
Ice cream?
yeah, I'll say chocolate. Yeah.
All right, and here's the last question for the podcast. It's from Ozzy All saying, if can fix of Rainbow Dash's character from last episode, what will it be? So if you can fix Rainbow
What
Dash's
we will
If
character.
you can change something,
Not
If-
have it in
not
the
have the
no,
episode
Tony.
Guys?
in its entirety.
Terminator.
Guys, no.
Killer.
You are misrepresenting Oziel's question. All right.
Yeah.
Words in
Please.
Oziel's mouth. The question is, if can fix of Rainbow Dash's character from last episode, what we will be.
I don't know
Right?
what we will
Oh.
Okay.
be. I love you,
Same
Ozzy. I love Ozzy.
That changes everything.
Uh,
I don't know. I probably just would not have had this episode in the first place.
yeah. This. I mean, I like watching the show still, but I just don't like these Rainbow Dash episodes because they're always so meh. Meh.
Well, the problem is we've been here.
Always
Why does she keep having to
something
relearn the
goes
same?
wrong, and then she overcompensates. It's always the same thing.
And
I
there's a lot
agree.
of like,
Rainbow Dash.
it's not just her being a jerk, but there's a lot of other folks being jerks too in the episode. It's like
Yeah.
everyone's just turns into an
Mhm.
absolute dick during her episodes.
Yeah, like even the like Fluttershy, I'm like, you dick.
All right, it is now 10:30. You guys ready to close this out?
Yes, I want
Actually,
to
I have
say.
a quick thing. I have a quick thing.
What's up?
I just announced the day and time for my first Patreon live stream, which is only exclusive for my patrons. So if you are interested, it's going to be very soon. So you would need to pledge the $2 minimum per month to get
I'm a
in on that.
patron.
Yeah.
So am I.
Why
I
are
wanted
you guys
to.
so patronizing?
Okay. I wanted to give two shout outs. One is I just retweeted it. Cadet Red Shirt is a machine when it comes to this art stuff. She has another picture that's a work in progress right now for the Who's Line. And another shout out I wanted to get was all the way from Argentina. It just says PRGC on Twitter drew an adorable picture of Sarah and I. I'm going to retweet that
Yeah.
one right now as well.
I retweeted it earlier.
Does
It's very
say-
cute.
So yeah, other than that, that's it from us, I think.
Yeah, we will be back not this week, coming week, but the next week, and we'll be back with more adventures. Since this kind of works out well, since we're doing a convention blitz over the next couple of weeks, we'll be at Midwest Bernie Fest, not this coming week, but the one after. So from the 26th to the 29th, and then after that we will be in Minneapolis, which is from the 10th to the 12th. So yeah, we're excited to be hitting up these different locations and visiting people and performing.
Oh, say, are we addressing the giveaway today?
No, I will announce that at the beginning of the next episode.
All right.
So you'll have to come back next time. So, that's right. There's a catch. All right, folks. Thank you all for joining us, and we will see you all next time.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Take a
Ponies.
tizzy.
Matt, what did you say?
Take a tizzy.
I think I said kick a kizzy.
What? This isn't a porno, Matt. This
Is that some kind of Pokemon name? Oh, favorite new Pokemon.
Take it.
Popolio or whatever his name. The seal
Yeah, the
one. He's cute.
Portillo's.
Judy.
Yes.
Popolio.
Judy Hops, the bunny.
Them Pokemons.